Welcome to the Merick Ulrik podcast. In this episode, Cleve and I review the Netflix movie Boy Kills World and Elliott Smith's 1998 release XO. This is really a kind of a strange episode, but I hope you enjoy it. All right, Cleve, good to see you again, man. I don't know for a fact, but I'm not sure if I wore this shirt last time, so it's hard for me to know. I've been trying to rotate my shirts so that the audience doesn't know that I only own three shirts. I feel like if I wear a different shirt every week, maybe they'll forget, or maybe they'll think I own more than three shirts. So, but I might have slipped up because every week that takes a little while for me to remember. So, hopefully, I didn't wear this shirt last
I've
week.
always heard that if you wear the same shirt, you don't scare
Yeah,
the
keep
audience.
them
So
like maybe they feel like it's
keep them
safe.
the
They
same.
can watch that. They recognize me by my shirt. Kind of. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a good sense. Like,
I know that one of the Y Files. I don't know if you ever watched the Y Files. AJ, he always wears the same shirt. He says,
yep.
for
Yeah,
consistency. So
yeah. It's
you're
kind of like that
consistent.
guy Steve Jobs. Me and Steve Jobs have a lot in common, actually. He wore that one shirt like over and over, and the jeans and the tennis shoes. Um, yeah, I
Hey,
did,
it
and
worked for
I
him.
do had I one time I had a band and we had a release CD. I had a CD release and I ordered like 100 shirts to sell. And this is no joke. You're gonna say like it's gonna sound like I just made up this joke, but for real, like I only sold like 10 shirts, so I had like 90 shirts left over. So like, and they're really good quality shirts. They're real comfortable. So you'll see me wearing them sometimes because I just really like them. They're very comfortable. So I had like a fresh shirt like every day for like a few years. So like sometimes I'd just be like, it would be a clean shirt, a brand new shirt, but it would look like I was wearing the same shirt every day. But it was actually just I kind of it's kind of sad because like I should have kept some of them so I could have a clean, like a brand new feeling. You know, when you get a brand new shirt out of a thing, but you never know; those moths could be eating them, so you don't want to like waste them. Wear them what?
Well, you know the Einstein thing, right? They had like 7 of the same exact outfit, and he that way he didn't have to put any thought
I
into
think
what he
that's
was
a
going to
good
wear that
idea.
day.
I really do. I'm for it, except for like I'm really picky about what I wear. Like I think my girlfriend, and she's that Playboy model that works for Playboy. I can't remember her name. It's not important. Anyways, but she would buy me clothes, and she finally figured out my style. It's really weird because like she would buy me stuff, and I would be like, yeah, I guess don't like want to feel like I'm going getting dressed for Easter. You know, it's like I feel like sometimes people get you a nice shirt, but it's like this certain style that's like it looks like a church shirt. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really like it. I guess I have a
I know what you're
phobia
talking
of
about.
that. So I was like, I want a cool shirt. So she got me some cool shirts that have like skulls on them and poker cards and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna review a movie tonight, or yeah, it's a movie, but it was made for Netflix. And then we're also gonna review a a a a, a an old record like last week. Okay, next week you got to
Not that
pick the
old.
record, so we're gonna review the next week. But I really love this record. But we'll talk about it. I don't want to spoil it. We'll go into it. Elliott Smith, XO. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about this Netflix movie, and we have to do non-spoilers first because there's a major spoiler in this story. That it's one of these movies.
So much
Once you
spoiler.
see it,
Yeah.
you cannot unsee it. It's one of those movies. So
Right.
we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, so I first of all, it's a certain genre. It's a action comedy adventure. It's a comedy, but it's a dark comedy, but it's kind of an adventure too. So a lot of the scenes are very comedic, but they're gory. I forget sometimes that it's written like a comedy, but it's dark, it's gruesome, and they set it up for a sequel. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. It's kind of
Yeah,
Kill
it totally
Bill-ish a
is. I
little
think.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, ish. Put
So we're
the
talking
ish
about
on there.
Boy Kills World. It's on Netflix, and have it playing in the background there. I guess it's probably already over by now
Yeah.
because we would talk.
Well, that part was funny with the guy that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, okay.
we'll talk about
But
it.
yeah, so this was a breath of fresh air, kind of. It was so different to me. And if you like action kung fu type movies, I think you'll really find this one fun. Yeah,
Impossible
yeah,
kung fu
yeah,
movie. Yeah.
exactly. 100 people shooting at 2 people with machine guns, but they're gonna miss every time. Well, they don't miss; they shoot them too. But I don't know.
and getting beaten silly, but still
Yeah,
able to get up and,
golly, yeah, yeah, no
and
kidding.
getting beaten bloody, but still getting up and
Yeah.
fighting. Yeah,
So, I found some of the oh, another thing I love about this movie. Okay, so the main protagonist is deaf and mute. And there's a reason for that,
he is
and
a
we'll
boy.
talk about this.
Yeah.
He's a boy, deaf and mute, and we'll talk about why he became deaf and mute and everything. But the narrator, what is the guy's name that narrates it? But he is the narrator for Bob's Burgers and the narrator for Archer. He's one of my favorite voice
Hmm.
actors.
I looked him up, but I forgot what his
We'll
name
find out
was.
real quick because I always just forget these kind of things.
But yeah, the narration's awesome in this
Yes.
movie. Yes.
Who was the girl who plays his sister? I'm trying to think. Uh,
Young
Oh, okay.
sister
There's two different
or
ones. The
yeah, no
Okay.
spoiler. Watch.
Oh yeah. Oh, I already did a spoiler. Oh yeah, the young sister. Okay, so the voice for Archer Sterling is H. Jon Benjamin. That's a Henry
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Benjamin, but he does a lot of stuff. Of course, he's not like a. He looks more like the guy from Bob's Burgers than the Archer guy, if you in real life. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed. My girlfriend hates the Archer series. I loved Archer. I thought it was so funny. It kind of went on too long, but and I love Bob's Burgers too. It's one of the Bob's Burgers is one of those shows that you almost can watch with your kids if they're little, but then it gets kind of a little bit like you're like, what is they talking about, Dad? So, but I mean, that's not Bob's Burgers isn't that bad. It's pretty good, but I mean, I'm talking about what it's probably rated like PG-13. I think probably I don't know, but Archer is a little bit more adult. But anyways, I digress. But so the narration is done by H. John Benjamin, the guy from the Archer, and yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. So what you think of the movie, Cleve?
Okay. First, I think we should probably talk a little about
Yeah,
how it's done. It's a boy. It starts off with a
yeah,
boy training. It's kind of
yeah,
dystopian, and he's training to kill like the leader of the dystopian order, kind of like a
yep,
Hunger Games type thing, except it's not. You got like the President
yeah,
Snow, but it's
yep,
a woman, and he's being trained for that by this Asian
yeah,
kung fu guru kind of guy. And so he's like you mentioned, there's a reason why he's deaf and mute, but you'll find out later. But or we'll talk about later in the spoiler part. But when he's training, he's deaf and mute. So the internal monologue, the narrator we're talking about, is
yeah,
him thinking. So and it starts off, he's in my spare time, I like to watch these two bugs fight. Fight Club. And they're behind, and someone walks by and steps on, and he goes, "It's a little
yeah,
fancy,"
yeah. So funny. It's such great.
and
I love the
yeah,
writing. It is good. It's good.
yeah, and that's all done
Yeah,
through narration. So that part I
yeah,
love because you see the boy and he's doing all his, he's like, this one part where he's, doing stuff and fighting and whatever, and then he's disciplining me not to do this, and apparently not to have
yeah,
food,
yeah,
and things like that, and it's all him inside of
yeah,
his brain. And there's this one part later on where there's a guy that he reads lips. That's why he
yeah.
understands people when they're talking. So he's reading the guy's lips and completely
The
misunderstanding
guy
everything the
speaks in a
guy's
different
saying.
language
And
than
he never
he's
explains what the
that he
guy's
knows, and so he's like looking at him like, yeah,
saying. So he's saying stuff like, like the car is red and flies by night. And he's like,
yeah,
he's like, what?
yeah.
Okay, he doesn't
It's
understand what
really
he's
great,
saying.
and they have the tragic build up. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
this was a great, but I would say like if you're triggered by, even though I would say the violence is so over the top that it could kind of like to me like
You have to
because the
suspend your
violence is so
disbelief.
over
Yeah,
the top, I feel like it's
it's
less
over the top.
gory because it's just too it's like when you're watching aliens it's kind of scary, but when you see somebody's like just it's over the top violence, so in a way it kind of makes you it seems less violent because it's too much violence. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's to the point that nobody in real life could possibly
Yeah,
survive
so
it.
it
So you have to
yeah,
suspend your
yeah,
disbelief. Yeah,
but
of course.
the story gets you into some ways because it does like it sometimes I goes kind of drawn into the story like it was like a real like tragedy, like this dystopian world is ruled by these just real horrible people, just real rich, horrible people
Yeah.
who really don't care for the people, and they're kind of like it is kind of like Hunger Games, or and they're entertaining the people with these like a almost like a wouldn't say like what do they have in the
They
in
call
the
it the culling,
it's like in
remember?
Rome they had the what do they call that, the gladiator fights, the Colosseum. But I mean it's now
Yeah,
but it's like the Hunger Games, or that
or
one
with
movie that
Maximus.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was in, where they like go in. What's that movie called? Running Man
The
or something
Running
like that.
Man?
But not exactly
I
like
don't
that.
know.
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, and maybe that's what's next for society, Cleve. Because I mean, I feel like pretty soon, like if things don't start improving with politics and stuff, people are going to be so disenchanted with society that they're going to be like, yeah, it's probably that's the next thing. I
I
hope
hope
not, but
not.
I feel like it's getting there. It's like I don't know.
Perhaps. Yeah, I liked the movie a lot, but it's one of those movies that you got to grab yourself some
Yeah,
popcorn, grab yourself a beer, whatever, just sit back and just
yeah,
have fun with it. It's not going to be anything that you're going to get into. You're going to be like, oh, I got to think
yeah.
through this, or I need to understand why this is happening.
No.
No, you just watch it
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
Yeah,
So,
I think we all need a break from reality sometimes. So that's
yeah,
what it was.
exactly.
I did like all the actors. Some of the actors you might notice. The what is the guy's name? The actor who played
Skarsgård,
the brother of the lady who runs the world. I'm trying. Okay, because he's been on a lot of stuff. I'm trying to see. He's not a major role, I guess. Oh, and Famke Janssen. I That sounds like a weird name, but she actually played the I don't know if
Phantom.
I'm saying her name right. She was the first Jean Grey, I believe. She was in the movie
Yeah, Famke Janssen. She played in
X-Men.
the X Men. She was Jean Grey in
Yep.
the original X Men, where you had like
Yep.
Marston and stuff like that. Those guys in there, and she was also in
Oh,
Goldeneye.
wow. That was a while
She
back.
was Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah, she was
Yep.
on the
And then
top.
you had what I was talking about is Brett Gelman is he plays in a lot of comedies. He's been on a lot of stuff that I've seen before. He plays the I can't remember what you call. He's like the brother of the main ruler person. I think I'm not sure. Anyways, but he's really funny. He's a funny comedian. He's in that. There's a lot of just really good actors that I haven't really facial
Hmm.
recognition I couldn't think of, but it was just really funny to me. It was well put together. The
Yeah, the protagonist is played by is it? It's not Alexander Skarsgård. It's one of the Skarsgård, but it's the one that played It. He
Okay,
was It in
Bill Skarsgård.
the later
Was he
Bill.
in
Yeah,
that
he
movie?
was.
There was a Viking movie. Was he in a Viking movie? I'm trying to think.
I'm not sure about that. I know that he played Pennywise in the It movies, the recent It movies. He's the one that can move his eyes real weird
Yeah.
in real life. Bill Skarsgård. Alexander, I think, is his brother. He's the guy that played True
Ah.
Blood. He was a vampire or something. But anyway, and then his dad, their dad of
Uh-huh.
Stellan Skarsgård, is the in Marvel movies the scientist, the old scientist guy in like
Okay.
Thor. I can't remember his name in the movies, but maybe you can put it in
Yeah,
there.
we'll figure that out. Which guy was that?
Uh,
His brother or
his dad is
okay.
Stellan Skarsgård,
Oh, okay.
the guy who played
Yeah, he was on
God,
the Thor movie. He was the
Thor.
scientist guy who was helping.
He's the old
Yeah.
scientist guy that got his
Sorry about
mind
having a
taken
bad hair
over, and
day. Sorry, guys. Anyways, uh,
it's all right. And then Alexander Skarsgård is his son. The thing I think of that he played in is True Blood. He was the vampire in True Blood. And then Bill Skarsgård was It. He
wow,
was the Pennywise the clown in It,
wow.
and he's the
He
one that's the
doesn't
main
look like
character
it.
in this movie.
This character, he looks so. This movie, I want to give it 4 stars. I want to give it more, but I mean, I think that's pretty good. It's a good, entertaining for what it is. It's a lighthearted, not what I mean. It's not one of those like I don't know how to say. It's just it's a crazy romp. I mean, without getting into spoilers, I'm trying to say how do I talk about this movie without getting into spoilers. The kung fu action stuff was okay for me, but it just it was over the top. It was just I
Of
mean,
course.
but I thought it had some. you know, cool elements, visually stunning. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Should we just shoot on?
I think for what it is, I'd probably give it 4.5
Yeah,
stars
yeah.
for what it is.
I agree. I agree. I want to give it more, so maybe 4.5 stars. Maybe I want to go with that. Yeah, because I think the narration alone was really good. It was really funny. The action, it was just unique. So you had the action and the
Twist was
twist. Oh
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the twist once we get into spoilers.
When we get
Yeah,
to the spoiler
yeah, it
part.
has a really good twist that, and it was really action packed. I'd like to see what it says on Rotten Tomatoes. Tomatoes, I can't say it. I didn't really look them up on Rotten Tomatoes.
I didn't even look at
It's
that. I
got
didn't think about
it's got kind of a low Rotten Tomatoes, 59%. That seems kind of low to me.
it. Well, there's a lot of movies out there that are pretty good movies that have a
Yeah.
cult following that have really low like audience scores in Rotten
Well, it has
Tomatoes. So
yeah.
there's a lot of them that considered to be flops that are really
Well, it
actually
has a
good movies.
72% on popcorn meter. I don't know what that means, but 59 on tomato meter. I don't. I need to learn more.
Oh, they changed it. Yeah, the tomato meter is like the
Yeah, the critics did
critics,
not like it,
and
but I feel
popcorn
like the
meter is like the
audience liked it a
audience.
lot more than the critics. I Yeah,
That's
I
usually what
get
happens
it. They
anyway.
probably didn't like it because it was just too funny. I don't know. I did I think the critics are almost usually wrong.
Well, I think that people that if you love Kill Bill
Mhm.
Part One and Two, you're gonna
Yeah,
love this kind of movie because
I
it's that
agree.
kind of
I
movie.
definitely agree. Definitely agree. Yeah, so I give it 4.5 stars. I twist my arm, I would say 4.5 stars.
Yeah,
But yeah,
four, four
that's
and a
what
half. Yeah,
I
so
really
that's
liked
why I
it.
put it.
Well, going into the spoilers, this movie is so crazy because like the first part scene in the movie, it starts with him being buried alive, and he's like eating a bug out of a bamboo shoot or whatever, and he's like, and then he gets out, and then his ninja master guy finds him. And he's like, "Oh, I failed the test again," and he buries him back again. I don't know what the hell was going on. But what you find out is this is the tripped up thing about the twist. So don't listen any further if you don't want to hear spoilers. I'm just going to go straight into the craziness of it. Is that he is actually the son of the bad guy, and he gets kidnapped by this his enemy and trained to kill his family, and also he's being hypnotized into thinking that his family killed his family. I don't know how to say it. I'm messing it up. Killed his, but it's just
Yeah, the twist is the guy who's training him is training him to kill the leader of the
yeah,
dystopian world, who's
yes,
really his mother, and he has trained him to think that his mother killed his real mother, who is
yeah.
really a fake mother.
Shoot.
It's a crazy twist.
Mm.
Oh,
I know.
computer's
I
going crazy.
just messed up all. Whatever. It's all good.
And so yeah, so you find out at the very end that his mother actually killed the guru who's training him's family, except
Yeah,
for him
his
for some
family
reason.
is his
And
the evil people are legitly evil. Okay, they are just terrible
yes,
people. They are ruling society like horrible. They're evil people. But the twist of that is the guy who's training him in a way is pretty evil himself to do that to a child. It's like
yeah, he stuck a hot
yeah,
poker in his
yeah.
ears so that he would be
And then he's
deaf,
taking revenge out for his family being killed by this evil leader on a child that was I don't know the son.
and then train that child to go back
Yeah,
and
so it's
kill.
very dark. And then on top of that, to have all the humor that's in this movie, it's so freaking crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, like the one where he's like, I'm on a team
Yeah.
now. This is my
Oh,
team, and
the
then
whole
I've never been
I
in a
just
team before and things like
so
that.
I think in the trailer you see it anyways. Is that scene where they're questioning the leader of the brother or the husband of I think the daughter. I'm getting it all confused, but
Well, the leader, she's really kind of not the leader. She's kind of got crazy a little bit. So really, the sister of that leader
in the
is really the
beginning, yeah,
leader, really the one pulling all the strings, and
Eh,
then the top is just like a
yep,
figurehead because she lost
yep,
her son and she's just kind of aimless. And they're saying, "Don't give her a gun because apparently she
yep.
shoots people," and
Yeah,
she's
but
just
then
kind of
there's that
nuts.
guy.
And
Remember
so
that guy,
that's
the
that
actor who plays what part of the movie is he? He's this Sharlto Copley. That's a weird name, but I'm saying he's a good actor, but I'm saying he's been on a lot of different things. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, Sharlto Copley. Anyways, he's a South African actor, but he plays one of the bad guys, and they catch him in the beginning or mid to the beginning of the movie, and they're with the team when he's like, "I'm on a team," and the guy he lets that guy loose, and he's holding like an anvil or something over his head. Remember that part? And he is like
Hmm.
questioning him and everything, and that his got the guy he rescued was holding this like heavy thing over the guy's head, and they're trying to like make him talk, and he's like, "I'll tell you everything. I feel terrible for doing all the things we've done, and you're right. I'll do anything. I'll help you." And then the guy accidentally drops the anvil and smashes his head, and he's like, yeah, he probably wasn't gonna tell us anything. It's like sounded like he was going to. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in there that's just kind of
dark.
ironically funny. And then, of course, he sees his supposedly dead sister
Oh
in
yeah, I forgot
in his
about that. That's
mind
a good.
all,
Yeah,
all around everywhere, and he's like, "Go away, little sister! I'm trying to do this." And he's actually trying to rescue his little sister. It's not actually there;
yeah,
it's on his head. And then, kind of find out at the end, he's fighting this really top notch head of security chick, and that's his
yes,
sister.
yeah. I knew when I was watching it. I called it. I called it
I figured
already
that
because
out.
like, why does she have a helmet on the whole time? You can't see her face.
Yeah,
So that was the one thing I did call, and I told Erica, I was like, that has to be a sister. I was like, I kind of figured it out, but I didn't figure out the whole thing that he was being trained by the guy who was, the whole flip thing. I didn't figure that out till he figured it out.
yeah, because he was an evil trainer. I mean, the way he trained that boy
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he's little,
torturing him. But
pretty
yes, but
torturous. Yeah,
yeah, the movie was it was such a trip because it was funny at times. At times it was a little bit sad, but because it was so over the top, you couldn't even get like into. It wasn't believable almost because it was so crazy. If that, I don't mean like what I'm saying is like I couldn't get into like feeling super emotional about the drama of it because it was so crazy
yeah, it's
that
wall to wall action.
that even though like if you just emotionally thought about the tragedy of everything that's happened, you could be like really distraught and sad. But I couldn't get to that place because it was so funny and so action packed the whole time. You know what I mean? It kind of gets you out of that. You don't really talk about you don't really
Exactly.
actually get into the human suffering of what they're implying that's happening. But yeah, there is a lot of that too with them just killing civilians and stuff like that, and it's crazy. But it kind of is a I don't want to say like a moral commentator. You kind of feel like society. Hopefully, we never get to this point, but like we're talking about, like I don't know, the rich ruling over the poor, and just yeah, it's that's I don't know. How would you do that? I don't. It's not exactly that. It's not that simple, but it was a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for what it is, and
Yeah,
I keep saying that. I know
yeah,
because I, I don't want anybody to go into this movie thinking, "Oh, you're going to see some sort of masterpiece." It's not, but
yeah,
it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's an escapism movie.
yeah,
You don't have to worry about message. You don't have to worry about woke. You don't have to
yeah.
worry about any of that stuff. You just go in
Kill
and
Bill was a
have
little
fun.
bit more serious than this because this is really humorous.
Yeah,
Kill Bill, I would say, it was funny in some ways, but mostly it was just very entertaining and action packed. And this is more silly in some ways.
yeah. It's a sillier version for sure. I mean, yeah, Kill Bill it takes itself a bit more serious, but yeah, the action sequences and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and it is very similar
Yes, it
in a
is.
way. But yeah,
And they set it up for a sequel because at the end of the movie, I think it says player two has entered the game. That was kind of cool. And they go back to when they were little kids and they're in an arcade playing. Yeah. So I would say though, it'd be hard to have I guess we'll see if there's ever a sequel to this because I would have a hard time believing there could be a sequel to this. And if it did make a sequel to this, I can't see how they could make it as good as this one because you know I don't know. In my opinion, they killed off a lot of the bad guys. I think who's left? The sister. I'm not sure. The older sister, the daughter. This
yeah, I don't remember who all's
yeah.
left. I
So
don't
if they
remember
did
at
have a
all.
sequel, I don't know. I think there's somebody who was left of the bad guys, but I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, you can't tell. Somebody could come up with a great story to come keep it going. Um, but yeah, the violence was so intense that you would think that nobody could live from all the stuff they went through. So
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff they did, especially that
yeah.
last fight, that
Oh
last
man,
big
and that
fight,
actor with
like
Yayan Ruhian, or I don't know, the mentor. Well, that fight with him,
the
and
mentor
both of
guy.
them
Yeah,
with the sister and him was just like was so intense. That you were thinking like, my God, major.
bones would have been
Everybody would have had
broken. They would,
concussions and yeah, yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
would have
yeah.
been bad. Yeah,
But anyways, it was a fun movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's on Netflix. So if you got Netflix, go watch it. Tell us what you think. Comment in the comments below and let us know what you're thinking about and what you thought of the movie, and let us know if we missed anything. I don't know. We might have missed anything. It's okay. We're human, but we didn't talk about it at the beginning of the show, but I can't wait for your book to come out, Cleve, the Gunpowder Magic and Lead. So I can't wait to talk about that pretty soon. So you say it's already it's
yeah,
on the editing process right now.
yep. I'm about midway through editing process. I finished writing it at least a
Okay,
week ago, but I've been going through the making sure everything, going through the editing, make sure everything's spelled correctly and everything's punctuated correctly and all the foreshadowing
I think it
works and
would
all
be
that kind
make
of
a
stuff.
good video game too. The whole Gunpowder Magic and Lead. Maybe we should come up with a board game that goes with your book, Gunpowder Magic and Lead. We could play because that just sounds like a fun game. You could play Gunpowder Magic and Lead because I always like the idea of like like I guess the whole like what is more powerful, like a lightning bolt or a machine gun? I don't know. I don't know. It'd be hard to say. I don't know. Well, if you didn't have to use bullets, like if you could have self-guided bullets like you do in your book that you're talking about, that would be pretty powerful too.
Yeah, there's a lot of little spells that he uses because the whole premise of the book is like magic has kind of waned somewhat, and it's in pockets, and they have to keep finding these pockets of
Yep.
magic and filling. It's kind of got some steampunk stuff. So there's these things called spell nodes, which are steampunk little clockwork things that suck in magic,
Cool.
and so he can use that magic to cast some spells, these little spells and stuff. But if it takes a lot of magic, he can't. There's not enough around anymore. There's not any magic in the air
That's
hardly
really cool
anymore.
though. It's good to have a good magic system, a unique magic system. So that's really important. So that's really cool. So I can't wait for that book to come out. We can't wait. We're going to talk about it on the podcast, I'm sure, as soon as it comes out. And I want to read it. Let y'all know about it first. But that's coming out soon. What do you think it's going to be
Yeah.
released?
Well, I have a pre-order set up for
All
November
right,
22nd,
cool.
but I'm thinking that I'll probably move that date up. I just set
Give you a
that
little extra
way.
time.
Once it was written, because I didn't know how long it was going to take to edit, and I didn't know if I was going to let people read it, in beta reading or not. So, it depends. That's what I set it for anyway. It's for pre-order right now on
Yep.
Amazon, but
Well, there you go. You can
um,
still get it. Get
and
it
it,
right now on Amazon. We'll have a link in the description. I want to see the cover. Have I seen the cover yet? Or have you had
I
the
don't
cover up
know.
yet? Um,
I don't know if
I
I have
don't
or
know.
not.
I didn't even think about that. I don't think I've seen the cover, but
I
we'll post the
Yeah,
cover in this video. So, Gunpowder Magic and Lead by Steve Cleve Bourbon. Call you Steve Bourbon. Steve
Steve
Bourbon
Burton.
is your brother. That's your
That's my
brother.
brother.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I have. Do you have it on your website yet, or no? I probably don't.
Yeah, it's on
Okay,
my website.
books.
It's under going to books and then under it's in a series. Every book is kind of standalone, but
There.
they kind of move into each other. So it's under
Oh yeah, there you go.
witches, wizards and
Yeah, there you
weapons.
go. I like it. I like it. That's cool. You got the
I think that's the old cover. I think in the new cover, Cleve Bourbon has moved to a different
okay.
spot on the cover. But if the Cleve Bourbon is up at the top of the,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've changed it in the website, but if it's at the top. I moved it to the
Okay.
bottom, or I had it moved to the bottom anyway because it was taking up too much space
All
up
right.
there.
Well, cool. We're definitely gonna find out about that soon. So I'm excited about it. I'll put the
Yeah, I'm excited too.
cover in this right now. It's gonna be right here. There, check it out. It's right. It's right here. All right. All right. Well, let's come
There
right
it
back. We're
is.
gonna stop for a commercial break. I can go clean up my beer that I spilled, and we'll be right back. Have you read Red Mage Ascending, The Mage of Blood Magic, in the Tournament of Mages Book 1 by Cleve Bourbon? The servant girl has a secret, and she's hiding it in plain sight. Hannah works for a well-to-do family who treats her well, but something is not quite right. The servant girl doesn't act like a servant. She speaks with multiple languages, including High Elvish. She is a skilled musician and a talented artist. There is also another talent, but its secret Hannah guards closely. She can use blood magic. She is hiding because she knows if she is found out, she will have to fight in the Tournament of Mages, a contest where she will be pitted against 5 other mages with different forms of magic. She has left everything behind, her family, her friends, and the one secret she dares not reveal. Now available on Kindle, audiobooks on Audible, in hardcover and paperback. Find it online on Amazon Kindle, Barnes & Noble's, iBooks, Kobo, and wherever you buy good books. This book is by Cleve Bourbon. Buy it now. Have you read The War Drums of Canth by Merick N.H. Ulrik, a high fantasy dwarven military fantasy? The War Drums of Canth. It's long been known that the Viclogs are the last stand of freedom in the land of Delantia, and the treachery of the Blood Queen. The dwarves settled the land long before she rose to power, but they were not the first inhabitants of the Viclogs. Orcians, trolls, kobolds, and even fouler creatures ruled the land. Only a dwarf would be obstinate enough to persist amongst such dangers. Now they face their greatest danger of all. Will they unite or perish? Before the tales of Vandrin the Valorian, and before the mighty drunken swordsman Gunnar Bannerbur, 1,000 years peace reigned in the Viclogs, but before that time of peace was 1,000 years of war. Dwarven clans warred against each other for power and control of the land. Political alliance and plots and old grudges from 800 years of feudalism keep the region in turmoil. But will a growing Orcian threat unite or destroy them? This is epic fantasy, military fantasy, high fantasy, and dark fantasy. The War Drums of Canth by Merick N.H. Ulrik. Now on Amazon Kindle, Amazon Kindle Unlimited. Back. So Cleve, I really like this artist. I don't know if you listen to a lot, but I was introduced to him in the early 2000s and Elliott Smith, and so I think it's kind of cool to review his album XO. So the album was released. When was it released? I know it was released before 2000. It was when was that released?
98,
Probably.
maybe.
Yeah.
I can look right here if you're looking. Let's see. It says
Yeah, 98. And
1998.
I probably found out about it in like 2004, something like that, 2002, because I didn't really start listening to it. Well, maybe earlier than that. Yeah, it probably was introduced to like right around 2000. Uh, and really, yeah, he's a unique artist. I don't know if he drew a lot of his writing styles from the Beatles, but I'm not really sure. But I was kind of deep diving in some of his songwriting techniques and stuff, and very unique. I don't know, like somebody was explaining it to me, but I don't think I understand it enough to explain what I was listening to. Just very poetic. The album EXO starts off with "Sweet Adeline," and do you ever remember that song by Chet Atkins? I can't remember what it's called, but I feel like it has that format of that song. Is it Adeline? It might be, I think Chet Atkins had a song called Adeline, but if you listen to it, I feel like he drew from that song, but it's not the same.
They're honest who
You
Chet
know, you don't know who
Atkins
Chet
is.
Atkins is? Yeah, yeah.
I do, but I'm like our
Yeah,
audience
Chet
may not. He's
Atkins
been,
was
in, you
the
know,
first certified guitar player. That's what they called him, and he was like, if you got called a certified guitar player by Chet Atkins, you were like, he was a guitar guy, Chet Atkins, and even though he was, I wouldn't say he's rock and roll, he's more country, but he was just would play anything. It's very talented guitar players, but it's hard to understand that when you listen, kind of jazz a little bit, I guess. What was the song? Uh, didn't he have a song called Adeline? Maybe I'm thinking of a different song. But he had a song similar to that. Chet Atkins. What was his songs? I can't think of his song, but it was a. But he wrote the song "Mr. Sandman." But he had a song I'm trying to think of that to me that had a walk down was similar to that song "Sweet Adeline," and I'm thinking if you listen to a lot of that to the Elliott Smith album, I feel like musically it's very rich musically. I don't explain it. I'm trying to think of the song. I thought he had maybe it wasn't called Adeline, but I thought he did have one, but maybe it was something else. I can't remember.
hmm.
Let me look up here. I don't want the. Hold on a second. I thought he had something similar to that, but maybe it's not. It's so hard to say. But anyways, I heard him play something similar to that on guitar. I can't think of the name of the song right now. Maybe I can find it later. But a lot of the songs on Elliott Smith's album, that Sweet Adeline has that really iconic guitar part in it. I think it has it.
Was it
Maybe
Ave
I'm not
Maria?
sure.
Maybe.
But I might be way
Okay.
100 degrees off, but I heard something from him. I'll find it. It might take me all night to figure out which song it was, and when we get off the podcast, I'll find it eventually, and I'll put it in the comments or something. But yeah, Sweet Adeline is I don't know, like it has a beautiful walk down. Um, I don't know what So is this like your first time hearing Elliott Smith, or you've heard him before? Or?
I've heard some of it before. I just didn't know who it was, and so I started when I started listening to it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I've heard this song, but yeah, Sweet Adeline does have that walk down
Yeah.
guitar. Dun
Dun,
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 dun.
dun,
Yeah.
dun. Yeah, so that's really cool. Waltz number two, I actually learned that on guitar, and it has the lyrics to these songs. Some of them are just like so crazy. Like I feel like his lyrics. I know his I know his guitar playing and his singing and everything have this certain style. But but the but the lyrics too are really kind of dark and funny. Some of them are like which is which song was it? I was picking out some of the lyrics and I was talking to my girlfriend about it about is it Baby Britain? I'm not sure. Britain is the one where it says like yeah. We'll get a copyright strike, but it doesn't really matter because we're not monetized anyways.
Oh, that the one I'm playing
Yeah.
right now is Independence Day.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I
one of
like
my
that.
favorite ones.
Yeah, I can
Do you
hear
hear
it
that?
a little bit. It's coming through in my
Hmm.
headphones.
All right, let's
Well,
see.
there's a
Baby
lyric in one of
Britain
these
was.
songs where it says, "God sends problems just to see how much you can tell before the devil does whatever he does, whatever he." Yeah,
Is that it?
bigger problems.
Yeah, that's it. Baby Britain.
Yeah, and that line too in that song, it always gets me. For someone half as smart, you'd be a work of art. It's just like such a good put down.
Yeah, yeah, that's Baby Britain, I think. And then, but the song I was
Yeah,
just playing was Independence Day because that's that one of my
yeah,
favorites of the album. I have the
yeah,
deluxe edition that I was listening
yeah,
to, so I don't know
yeah.
if these are
I'll
on.
listen to them all. I love everything.
Ball Up and Explode is
Yeah,
a good one.
I like even the lyrics to "Everybody Cares, Everybody Understands." That's such a just a funny line. Everybody cares, everybody understands.
I don't think I'm playing long enough for it
Yeah,
to get a copyright strike, but like you said, we're not monetized anyway. So
yeah. I was just so into Elliott Smith. I never could play like him. Like his playing is just so beautiful. Like when he plays acoustic guitar, it's like almost like you hear two guitars at the same time because the way he's finger picking and things, it's really more intricate than people realize. Like if you were to listen to him live just on acoustic guitar, he's very intricate, I guess I might say.
There's some
Yeah,
drones in there. That one. But anyway, yeah. I listened to the whole thing. Like I said, there's a couple songs. I think I'd heard "Sweet Adeline" before, and was it "Tomorrow Tomorrow" that I've heard before?
I don't know. Well, so
I don't
Elliott
know.
Smith's biggest break was when he had one of his songs on that movie Goodwill Hunting. He had, I believe, Miss Misery was in Goodwill Hunting, and he
Oh, that's the
actually
one I was talking
plays
about. That I've heard
on
before.
he played at the Grammys that year when because Goodwill Hunting was of course a big hit, and his song was on that. He also had A Needle in the Hay was in the Royal Tenenbaums, A Needle in the Hay, and so he
Hmm.
had a lot of his songs in some of these movies and stuff. So that was a good thing for him. But of course, he died tragically. I think in 2004, I believe, when I think it was 2004, but I might have the dates off. Where he was stabbed through the heart with a like a I don't know if that's a marine survival knife, whatever kind of knife they call that, but like anyways, and there was some contention whether he stabbed himself or if his girlfriend stabbed him. They said it was suicide or assisted suicide because he was bad on
Hmm.
heroin. So it's crazy. Just another crazy, tragic loss of talent. But you
Yeah,
never
seems to happen a lot with
you
creative
never see
people.
him get to his. I mean, well, it's hard to say if he was at his full potential or not. He had several really good albums, but wasn't like super famous. I don't know how to say that. So I don't.
Wasn't super
Maybe
well
maybe so.
known.
Like he was very well loved by everybody who heard his music, but so it's hard to say. Like I think he had about 4 or 5 records. Well, there's maybe more than that, but I think his last record was Figure Eight. Uh, yeah, yeah. I could play this
Hmm.
song. That's a waltz number two, and it's a
Yeah,
yeah,
I just hit that by accident. I
yeah.
wasn't.
It's the lyrics to that. It's like
But
first the mic,
those of you who are wondering, I
yeah,
have
yeah,
my
and a
iPad
half
here. So
cigarette. It's crazy how he just can sing about like he. I think he did more for bad breakups than what's her name, the famous girl now that's what's her the big no
Alanis Morissette. Oh
Taylor
no,
Swift. Yeah,
Taylor
he ever
Swift.
had such a really good put downs for yeah. Like first the
This
mic,
was
then a
back in
half
the 90s.
cigarette, singing Clathy's clown. That's the man she's married to now. That's the girl that he takes around town. She appears composed, so she is, I suppose. Who can really tell? She shows no emotion at all. Stares into space like a dead china doll. I'm never gonna know you now, but I'm gonna love you anyhow. And then it's like if you read into these lyrics too, it's very suggestive. Now she's done and she's calling someone. Such familiar names. I'm so glad my memory's remote. 'Cause I'm doing just fine hour to hour, note to note. Here it is, the revenge to the tune. You're no good. You're no good. You're no good. You're no good. Can't you tell that it's well understood? Never gonna know you now, but I'm gonna love you anyhow. And as you can tell, all of his songs are very melancholy. Like even when he gets to the bridge, he says like, "I'm here today, and I'm expected to stay on and on and on, and I'm tired, and I'm tired." And then it's like it talks about something else. He's like, looking out on the substitute scene, still going strong. XO, mom, it's okay, it's all right,
Which song is
nothing's
this again?
wrong. That's waltz number two. Tell Mr.
I lost number
Man
two.
with impossible plans, just leave me alone in the place where I make no mistakes, in the place where I have what it takes. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a love song, but it's actually kind of like talking about other stuff too. And then he just goes into the refrain, I'm never going to know you now, but I'm going to love you anyway. There you go. You got a free acapella Merick singing. Now, I really love these songs, so I've been listening to them for years.
What was that? I think I hear some
Yeah.
wolves
Oh,
howling. I'm kidding.
that's Werewolf of London will be my next hit. Let's go back into that one. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, I remember that song. Yeah, we're probably gonna hear some of those songs coming up because
Yeah,
October is
yep,
coming up,
yep.
my favorite month.
That was
Oh, tomorrow, or probably when people are actually seeing this podcast, maybe when they're seeing it, or maybe after. It will
yep.
be
Or
autumn.
I don't know about you, Cleve, but it's like super hot here. It's not even cold yet. Yeah, it's
It's
not
been
cold.
that way. Yeah, tired of it. I'm ready for some autumn weather to come in. And it's been rainy all day today, so it's
Yeah.
been like 60 and 70 degrees here. And I was like,
I
yes.
don't know if I just rambled
Anyway,
about this album, but it's probably I would have to give this album about 5 stars because I have to because he's not. But then again, it's not like a hit. Like I don't know. I just it's a favorite to mine. But I think my first album that I heard of his was Either or. That's the name of the album, Either or. That's not it. Now, I do mean the album title is Either or, but yeah. But XO is a good one. Figure Eight was the last one, and that he has From a Basement on a Hill. There's a bunch of stuff they just dug up. Some of these songs are just acoustic guitar and singing, and just barely any other instrumentation. So
yeah, and it's kind of a slow
yeah, it's
album
not
as
like a
far as
heavy rock album.
yeah. If you're looking for something that's going to be like upbeat and really,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say this is your album. However, it is good. All the songs are good. They're
yeah,
melodic. They're catchy. I enjoyed, and I'm pretty picky about what I listen to, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'd
yeah.
probably
I
give it
think
four
if you want
stars
a more
just
upbeat
because.
album, Figure Eight has a little bit more electric guitar and stuff. For Elliott Smith, they have yeah, they have um
Okay.
but this album is probably more melancholy. But man, all the songs, Elliott Smith is like a dose of melancholy. It's funny. I knew a girl that, well, anyways, a friend of mine. She dated my brother. But have you ever met someone who is like, they call them a alpha widow or something like that? It's basically like where this girl dated her briefly. She was a friend of my
Mhm.
brother's, and she had a boyfriend who died tragically. Drug overdose or something like that. But she talked about him all the time because she was in love with him, I guess. But she loved Elliott Smith, and she just want to play Elliott Smith over and over. But she was so sad all the time about her boyfriend, her ex boyfriend who died, and so she'd play Elliott Smith over and over. It's funny. I'm sorry, I digress, but
Wow.
yeah. So an alpha widow is someone as a woman who is hung up on her ex who died, and you can't really get mad about it because it's like died. so so she
You
yeah,
can't get mad or
the guy
jealous
died, and
because
she's
they're
still in
not
love
here
with him,
anymore.
and she just never can get over the fact that this guy died. So it's sad.
That's pretty sad. I never
Yeah,
heard that before,
yeah.
but
So you
that's
meet her,
pretty
and you
sad.
can meet a really nice lady like that, but she'll never be fully available to really have a relationship because she's just still tragically.
My best friend is married to a woman whose husband died.
Yeah.
Her first husband died.
Well, maybe they can get over
So,
it. I guess it's emotional. It just depends on what.
well, I was about to say, I think it's probably some of that still there because some of that, the way it held over in that relationship,
Yeah.
they're still married to this day, but the way it held over in that relationship is she can't, he doesn't know, has no freedom. He can't go out by himself for very long or anything. She's always like, "Are you there?"
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's
I guess
worried,
because she.
So it kind of manifests in
Yeah,
different
that makes
ways, I
sense because
guess.
she
But
feels like
yeah,
man, she doesn't. She's afraid of losing something. I guess. Yeah, I can see. I can see that.
yeah, it's like she doesn't like to be away for very
Yeah.
long from her. Like you could never go on a trip with the
Yeah.
guys for like a weekend or something.
Yeah.
She would freak out.
I don't know if I'm the best music reviewer. If I had to explain that whole album, this is an album from over almost 25 years ago, or more than 25 years ago. Yeah, it's just like almost
98.
30 years ago.
Oh,
So this is something from the 90s. We do review current music sometimes, but the last 2 weeks we've done like older albums just for fun. But like Yeah, I really would like to see how Elliott Smith would stand up against like some modern pop artists who have everything programmed and auto tuned. I wonder if they had like a song off, like how they would communicate with each other. Like, here, here's acoustic guitar and no auto tune, and I'll play and you play, and let's see how it sounds. Just kidding. Is that
Well,
horrible?
my music pick, my music pick for hopefully for next week is kind of got some similarity to this, but it's a
Yeah,
band that's still around and they're still playing,
yeah,
and there's new albums.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is an older album, but it's one
Well,
of my favorites. But
definitely.
for next week, we'll have to
Okay,
wait
we'll
and
wait
see
and
who
see
that
what that
is.
is, but we'll definitely talk about it too. And so, we need to know what movie we need to review next week too, because I have no idea. No idea now.
That's another thing we
Yeah,
can put out to the audience if they want to put in the comments something they want us to review and
yeah.
talk about.
I
We'd be
still haven't
happy to
seen
do
Beetlejuice
that.
2. I'm way behind. We need to go see that. But I hear it was really good. From
Let me see what's on good old Netflix and see what we got going here. Maybe there's something interesting popping up. Like I said, we're
yeah.
completely
So
open to
just
suggestions.
message us or comment on this video. Um,
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
awesome. Let's see. Oh, I know one that I would
Mhm.
like to review, but I don't know if you'd like to
Okay.
review it or not. It's an older movie. And it's on Netflix,
Yeah.
I
I
believe.
love watching
Maybe.
old movies, honestly, and I love like sharing an old movie with somebody who really enjoys good movies that hasn't seen it yet. So like my girlfriend and I, we've watched all kinds of old movies, and she's very intelligent, aren't you, babe? Very intelligent. And but
I
she
hope so.
likes like I made her watch some old movies. Like one of my favorite old war movies is The Guns of Navarone. I made her watch that with Gregory Peck. Eh, Yeah, yeah,
Oh
that's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
movie.
That is a good
Uh,
movie. The one I was thinking about was it's a Sam Raimi movie, but it's an older Sam Raimi movie. He's the guy
mhm.
that did the X-Men
Yeah.
and Spider-Man stuff.
Well, say so.
It's
So by the
called The
way,
Quick and the Dead.
we forgot to mention this. I'm glad you said this. Be-
Sam Raimi's a producer
Boy
on this
Kills
movie.
World was the producer. Sam Raimi was he the producer? Yeah. So I
Was a
forgot, and
producer.
he's the Evil Dead guy. Did Evil Dead, Army of Darkness? Yeah.
Oh yeah, The Army of Darkness, Evil Dead,
Yeah.
X-Men. I think
He didn't
Spider-Man.
do he wasn't
Tobey
involved with
Maguire.
Wolverine versus Deadpool Wolverine, was he? I know he probably wasn't. No, no.
No, I don't think so. He was Sam Raimi was the director of things like the Tobey
Yep.
Maguire
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think. Yep. Yep. So
Spider-Man.
what were you gonna say? Because I know we got cut off. Oh, I interrupted you.
Uh, the Quick and the
Oh,
Dead.
The
Have
Quick
you
and the
ever watched
Dead.
that?
Have I? I think I have probably, but I can't think right now.
Um,
Uh, you know what? That's an old. I would like to see that. I don't. I think I probably watched it a long time ago, but I haven't seen it in. I love westerns. I don't think I've.
well, the reason why is because the people that reviewed it, people always it's got both sides. It's got people that
Yeah,
love it, and it's got people that are
I
like,
love
yeah,
Gene Hackman.
this is a
I
western.
love Sam Elliott.
Well, Gene Hackman's awesome in it.
Leonardo DiCaprio's in that. No, no, no. And then
Yeah,
he's
Leo
younger.
DiCaprio,
And then you got Sharon Stone, which we always
Aaron Stone,
loved her. And yeah, Russell
Russell
Crowe's in
Crowe.
this. Wow, wow, wow. It's got a
Yep.
lot of cool people. Okay, so I definitely want to watch that. So we're gonna review that
We could put that. It doesn't have to
one
be
of
next
these
week. We can
days.
just
We're
put it
gonna
up on the
definitely review
list.
that. I love westerns. Unforgiven. I love that movie. I love,
Unforgiven's
I
great. I
love all
watched that
the Clint
recently.
Eastwood movies. Gene Hackman too. Just a great. He plays a really good bad guy in movies. He just has a real good.
Yeah, non-spoiler, but Gene Hackman in Quick and the Dead plays a character very similar
The
to
sheriff and
uh,
yeah,
Bill in
Little
the
Bill
sheriff in
or
Unforgiven.
yeah,
Little Bill, yeah,
yeah,
very similar type character. So if you like him in
yeah.
Unforgiven, then yeah, he's definitely that same kind of
You,
in that same
you know,
vein. He's not the same
speaking of
character, but well, it also has Richard
okay,
Harris in it too.
I yeah. Speaking of
Anyway,
westerns, isn't it ironic that they remade the Magnificent Seven, right? But the Magnificent
uh huh,
Seven is a remake of the Seven Samurais.
yeah,
Seven Samurais is a Japanese movie. I saw that in dubbed, or I don't know, just in subtitles, and I just thought it was such a beautiful movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the Seven Samurais.
I haven't
It,
seen the original. I've seen both
but Seven
Magnificent
Samurai is
Sevens.
where they got the idea, the concept of the Magnificent Seven, and it's a little different, but it's I don't know. I really like the Seven Samurais. It really, you can see if the Magnificent Seven just follows that completely, but it's kind of more
Hmm.
beautiful in a lot of ways because it's using less budget, more like lighting effects and stuff. So I don't explain it. But that same director was like, even George Lucas has been said to copy some of his work or draw inspiration from him.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that guy who did the Seven Samurais. What was his name?
Um. Oh, if you hadn't said it, I would have. For some reason, when we're
Yeah, I
on
can't
here
think,
in the
or in the
middle of
middle.
the podcast, I can't think of anybody.
Oh man, I'm typing the wrong
Takamara. I
button.
don't know.
I'm a terrible typo
Uh,
guy. Yeah, the Seven Samurais was what's the guy's name? Yeah, Akira Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa.
there we go.
Yeah,
Kurosawa.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So apparently, like a lot of stuff was George Lucas drew a lot of, not just from this movie, but a lot of his. He has several movies that are really epic, and I feel like George Lucas.
Yeah. The fight scenes were from like a World War II movie where they had the dogfight
Mhm.
scenes. And then he got the Jedi from Edgar Rice
Mm.
Burroughs, the Mars books. They have a character on there called
Oh
the
my god!
Jadak, the Jedi, and then of course the Bantha. They have something similar to that in the Mars
Wow.
books. Like John Carter, the
Yeah,
John Carter
that's another
series.
sci-fi movie that I really enjoyed. Well, anyways, we've gotten on around full circle from talking about Boy Kills World to Elliott Smith, and I think I've rambled the most possibly on this episode. I apologize to my listeners. I feel like I fell asleep earlier, and so I got started. I had to put my daughter to bed, and she didn't fall asleep, but I fell asleep, and so yeah, so I kind of woke up a little dreary today. I hope I was entertaining. I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm,
We'll see.
you
Sorry about
were not
that.
kidding.
But yeah, but so I really
It's
love
fine.
that Elliott Smith album, and Boy Kills World. I was very entertaining, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what uh, music that Clive picks because I want to hear something different and come with a fresh take on something new or old. Looking forward to it.
You just call me
Clive, I just
Clive.
called you Clive. Oh, sorry, Cleve. Sorry, Clive. Cleve. Sorry. I'm
It's
screwing up
okay,
all
Jarek.
day today. God, this is the worst podcast ever. I apologize, guys. Okay,
We'll be
sorry.
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for listening,
Clive.
and thank you for calling me out on that because I really do. I really need to be called out when I screwed up like tonight. Anyways, so yep, we got that going on, and next week we'll have some new reviews and something cool. What else we're going on? Yep. All
Guaranteed.
right. Well, thanks.
I don't know. What are you working on right
Um,
now, writing wise?
nothing, nothing I
Are
can
you working
really
on anything?
speak about in polite society. I've got. I'm still thinking about putting out another John Price book, and a sequel to the War Drums of Canth. And I'm really probably about ready to start something brand new because I don't have anything new. I had a book that I need to rewrite called The Ninja Girl that I started writing, and I feel like the pacing's wrong, so I need to redo it. From what I can tell, I've got some good feedback that it's like, I don't know, like I started with a lot of action in the beginning, and I feel like it needs more setup. So that's what it's hard to say. Maybe I could talk to you off camera. You can tell me what you think. But yeah, I really am probably ready to start a new project. But I haven't decided on
Cool.
one yet. So I have like 4 or 5 different ones I could be doing. So yep. So sorry for that answer. It's
All
not
right.
very exciting. All
Fine.
right. Well, Cleve, thank you for being on the show with me. I feel like we'll have
Yeah.
a good podcast next week. And thank you all for listening. Um, talk to you all soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks for listening to the Merick NH Ulrik podcast. Please like and subscribe to this channel. We'll see you next week. Thank you.